So today we grabbed some food from Sophie's. So we just have the pork chops in red sauce, rice and beans, plantains, vegetables. So today I am back with another cooking video. So my sister requested that I make her some a lasagna, so I thought that I'll just share it with you. So I will be using 3 pounds of ground beef. This one is, I guess you could say, pretty lean, 80% lean, 20% fat, and these are just 1 ounce packages. So I am going to be making one for her and then a smaller one for myself. So I'm just going to do 3 pounds. So I have 3 pounds of ground beef here. Then I have 1 pack of this lasagna. So I still boil my lasagna noodles because my lasagna, I don't like it to have a lot of sauce. So I'm always afraid that my noodles would not cook all the way through. So I still boil my noodles. So I have 1 pack of lasagna noodles. Then for my sauce, I have my favorite bertolli. So this is the organic olive oil, basil, and garlic. So I'm going to be using 2. I may use 2, I'm not sure yet, but I have 2 jars here. And for this lasagna, I have tried it twice before this way, and it was good. So this is the second lasagna I'm actually making for my sister, and she liked the first one, so I'm going to do it the same way. So I am not using ricotta this time around, so I just do a cheese sauce. So for my cheese sauce, I have some whole milk, and I'll just do a roux. So I'll use you know, a little flour with some butter to get it thick. So I have my whole milk here, and then these are the cheeses that I pulled from my freezer. So I have 2 of this Cracker Barrel extra sharp yellow cheese. So I'm going to grate these. This is going to go in my cheese sauce. And I also have some of this Vermont extra sharp cheddar cheese. So these cheeses I'll put in my cheese sauce, as well as I'll use it to top my layers for my lasagna. So I have these 3 blocks here. Then I didn't have mozzarella, and I just did not want to go out and get any, but I have this Kraft, this is mozzarella and cheddar, they said, for mac and cheese, but I'm going to use this to top my final layer of my lasagna. So if you're interested in seeing how I make this lasagna, then just keep watching. So I have my 3 pounds of ground beef. I took them out of the plastic, so I've started cooking them. So I'll cook them like this, separate them so they're basically crumbled. Then I usually drain off all of the oil, then I put them back on the stove, and then I season them. So we're going to put this in the pan, we're going to get this cooked, and then I will show you how we proceed. So my meat is in and cooking, and this is why I usually strain my meat, because I definitely do not want all that oil in my lasagna. So it's going, and we're just gonna let it cook and then drain off all of that oil. So I am back. As you can see, my meat is, I would say, about 98% cooked, and this is all of the oil. So we're definitely going to drain that off. So now I'm going to drain my oil, and then I'll put it back in to cook, and then we just season it. So I'm back. So I'm just going to show you just what I do. So I have this spoon, and I just scoop this out, of course, some of the oil, and then I add it to this. And usually I try to just push everything to the side, but because I'm doing this little setup for you. So you see all of that oil, we do not want that. Or sometimes I just use this, and then I'll dip it out, and I'm just going to add it to this. Then I add it to this bowl, just with some paper towel, so it could still, you know, absorb some of that extra oil. And since it's a lot, I just have to do it in batches. But usually if I had if it was maybe like a 1 pound container of ground beef, then I'll just put it in this, you know, let it sit just for maybe a minute or two, and then I'll transfer it so that that paper towel absorbs even more oil. Then you can imagine having all that oil in your lasagna. No. This is all the oil that we have from our 3 pounds of ground beef. So I'm just going to dump this, and I'm going to let my meat sit for maybe like 5, yeah, I would say like 5 minutes. So I'll leave this here, and then this is what I have in my bowl. So this is in that bowl. So I'll let it sit for about 5 minutes, and then I'll come back and add it back to my pot. So I have added my meat back to the pot, and I already added my seasoning. So as you can see right here, let me see, this is just a little bit of my homemade green seasoning, and in my green seasoning I just have green onions, it has cilantro and bell peppers. Then I added some parsley, some oregano, a little salt, not a lot. What else do I have in there? Onion powder, garlic powder, and some Italian seasoning. That's about it. So I'm just going to mix all of these up and let the meat cook just for maybe 2 to 3 more minutes. Then I'm going to add my sauce. So my meat has been seasoned. We're just going to add some of this pasta sauce. And as I mentioned, I don't want it to be too saucy, so I'm going to combine this, and then I'll see if I need to add more. So I added the remainder of the sauce. So I did 1 jar, and of course, you know, we are definitely not wasting our sauce. So I just added just a little bit of water. I'm going to add it to the pot, and I'm just going to let it simmer for, I would say, 5 to 10 minutes. I don't think I mentioned this, but the lasagna, I'm actually not baking it. So I'm just going to assemble it. Then once my sister gets it, then she can just put it in the oven for maybe 30 to 40 minutes for it to heat up and for the cheese to melt. So all of the components of the lasagna I am making, and I'm letting them come to room temperature. So I want them to be cold, basically, because I don't want to assemble it warm and then I have to have it cool in the pan. So I'm doing everything, all the components, and then I'm leaving it to cool. So I did my noodles already, and I have them here draining. So these are going to come to room temperature. Then I grated my cheese. So my cheeses were actually frozen, so that's why it looks a little crumbly. So I ended up I grated 4 sticks of cheese, like 4.5, and they're all cheddar. So I have all cheddar here, and then of course I don't think I'll use all of this, but I just grated all of the cheese. And then this one, these are just the pieces that, you know, that fell apart while I was grating. So I'll be putting these in the sauce, in my cheese sauce first, and then of course if I need more, I'll just use this one. So I'm going to get started on our cheese sauce. I have 2 tablespoons of flour and then 2.5 tablespoons of my butter here. So this has been going for maybe 2 minutes, and I'm actually just going to use the entire box of milk that I have here. Because I want to have enough cheese sauce. And I'm just going to bring this to a simmer. And for our sauce, I just seasoned it. So I have just onion powder, garlic powder. I have some Italian seasoning and some parsley. So I'm just going to mix this and let this milk, not meat, let this milk heat up. So our milk mixture has been bubbling away with our spices. So I'm just going to add this. I guess this might be maybe a cup and a half of this cheese. As you can see, most of the cheese has melted and my sauce is thicker. So I'm just going to leave it on maybe for a few more minutes because I don't want to boil it too much and then it starts separating. So I think we're good. I want it to be still spreadable. Yeah, I think I'm going to turn it off now. And as I said, I'm bringing everything to room temperature, so I'm just going to leave this until it is cool. So we're back. Everything has come to room temperature. I am just going to be assembling it. Then once my sister receives it, she'll just put it in the oven for 30 to 40 minutes so that it heats up and then the cheese melts. So I wanted to bring so I have my pan. I am doubling it because this pan is going to be traveling. I have my noodles. So as I mentioned, I still cook my noodles, so I just cut them to fit the size of this pan. Then I have my cheese. So I have my cheese that we're going to top it with. This is our cheese sauce. So as you can see, it's a little on the thicker side, which we want. And then this is my ground beef. As I mentioned earlier, I didn't want a lot of liquid in my ground beef. I didn't want it extremely saucy. Plus, it's also, as I mentioned, it's traveling. So, you know, I had to keep all of that in mind. So we're going to start assembling our dish. Let me just wash my hands. Okay, so I've just sprayed my pan and I'm just going to add my layers of noodles. Then of course I do my cheese sauce. To get a little more to this side. Okay, that should be good enough. Then we're going to add our meat. And I'm just going to keep adding my layers. I do one layer of noodles on top. Usually my noodles are too long, but I guess not today. So I usually just do a layer of noodles and then I'm going to do the cheese here. I think this is fine. So I am just going to, I'll show you how I package it so that I can send it to my sister. Or at least the last time I did it, I did wax paper first. Because I figured with wax paper, the cheese would not stick to it. So I do wax paper. Actually, I'm going to leave the second. I'll add the second pan last. So I did wax paper. And then I'm going to do some cling wrap. So I have some cling wrap. So I'm doing cling wrap, then I'm going to do foil paper, and then I'm going to add the foil cover for the pan. This is it. As you can see, I have the silver cover. I did my foil. My sister also had another request. So she requested barbecue wings. So here I have some wings. This has been sitting in my fridge for the past, I think maybe 3.5 hours. So I seasoned it. I just used you know, all dry seasoning. So Italian seasoning, I did parsley, garlic powder, onion powder, I did some oregano, I said parsley already, and I did a little cilantro, and I just added coated it in a little olive oil, and I'm going to grill it in my Ninja Foodie, and I'll show you what it looks like. So this is it, and these are the options. So you have the option to grill. You can basically air fry, hydrate, you can bake, you can roast. The only thing I've used the air fryer setting and the grill setting. And the idea is that it doesn't get as smoky as your traditional grill. I actually love this thing. And this is what it looks like on the inside. So this is the grill, I guess the grill insert. So I am going to add my wings to this. And we're going to make some barbecue wings in our Ninja. So now it has finished preheating, so it tells you to add food, and I've added my wings. So I just spray the insert with a little canola oil per their recommendation, and I'm just going to close this. And I'm setting it for 25 minutes, but I'll just check it periodically. So this is after 15 minutes. So I like my wings also to be dry. So I'm just going to flip these over and let them continue cooking. So my wings are done. I had them in for about 23 minutes a piece, and I love my wings to be dry in terms of not the actual meat being dry, but I don't like my wings to be saucy. Like I don't want it to be like drenched in sauce. And I kind of like I like the skin to be, I guess, crispy. So I've already washed my bowl. So I'm going to be using this barbecue sauce. If you looked at my last grocery haul, you would have seen that I got this for 50 cents. This is actually my first time using it. So because I have so many wings, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this to my bowl with maybe like a tablespoon or 2 of water. Just so it's easy to coat my wings, and I'm going to toss my wings in this barbecue sauce, and then I'm going to put them back in my Ninja Foodie for maybe like a minute, just for the sugar to, you know, heat up and stick to the my wings. So I'm going to show you how I do that. So I have my barbecue sauce, and I literally just added 2 tablespoons of water, just so, as you can see, it's not too thick. And I'm going to add my wings. I know my wings look really crispy. That's exactly what I want. So I'm just going to add a few, and since they're all been cooked, you know, you don't have to worry about any cross-contamination because everything is fully cooked. So I'm just going to add a few and toss them in my barbecue sauce. And this just ensures that, you know, every bit of my wing is coated. I also have a brush, so I'll show you the brush that I have. So this is it. So I have this, I guess, this silicone brush. So once I put them on my grill, if I think that they need a bit more barbecue sauce, then I can just brush them with the barbecue sauce. But I'm just tossing them so that everything is coated. And this just makes it easier just because I have so many. So you see, everything is coated in my barbecue sauce. I'm just going to add them to a plate, just so I want to toss all of them, and then I'm gonna add them. So I'm just, see, everything is coated. And these, as I said, it's just a personal preference. I just do not like my wings to be like drenched in barbecue sauce, and then the meat itself, like the skin isn't crispy. I just do not like that type of wing. Those type of wings. I guess my wings, I guess you can say I probably like the kind of like fried and then tossed effect. Okay, and then I'm going to just add the others. I'll probably do this in maybe 3 batches. If I did this in the oven, I usually do the same thing first. So I usually cook my wings. I usually cook my wings and then I'll do it in barbecue sauce, because I find sometimes, I guess depends on how you do it, but sometimes if you just add the barbecue sauce to it, then, you know, especially if your wings are not like patty dry, then it tends to, I guess it's to say, like steam instead of cooking it the way I like. So as you can see, everything is very well coated, and you can even eat them like this. So if you do your wings like this, maybe you could just heat up the barbecue sauce. That's also good. You could just heat the barbecue sauce up on the stove, maybe for like a few minutes, and then just toss them in the sauce, and that would also work. But I'm just going to put them back, you know, similar to if you put your wings back and broil it, just so the sugars from the barbecue sauce can stick to your wings. And this is what our wings look like. Look at that. So even just like this, these wings look so delicious. So they are back in, and I did air crisp. So I'm literally going to leave them in for maybe 2 minutes. And our wings are out. So I did them in 2 batches. And as you can see, it just literally looks like it has a glaze. That's exactly how I like my wings. So they're out. As I said, I left them for 3 minutes just so that the barbecue sauce, the sugar can start caramelizing and get stuck to the skin. Oh, this is perfect. And these are our wings. I tried a few of them and they are absolutely delicious. Thank you so much for watching my video. Let me know if you try any of these recipes in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe, to turn on your post notifications, and I'll catch you in the next one.